Kim here. Welcome to Backyard Blooms. I'm sitting here out in my garden. It is gorgeous today. It is the first part of February and it is in the mid-50s and it is feeling gorgeous. So every time that I can, I like to get out here and kind of get a head start on anything that I can do in the gardening. And right now I have a new bird feeder that Dokoo, D-O-K-O-O, I'm not really sure if I'm saying that right, sent me out a brand new feeder to try, and it's the white and green one that you see right back here. And it's kind of special because it's got like a Wi-Fi camera on it that identifies 10,000 birds. So if you are a bird lover and you like to identify all the new birds, then this might be something that's interests you. So the only thing that I'm not really in love with is that the color, and it kind of really stands out into my garden. But other than that, I really am loving, like when I'm at work or away, that I'll get this notification from the app, and the app is called TRIS Home, T-R-I-S Home. And then it'll tell me that there was a bird that was identified, and then I can click on it and it will show the bird there, and I can take a picture if I'd like. I can do video and I can do a picture, which is pretty cool. So I've been trying to catch some of the birds on there that that it has identified this morning. And so far this morning, it has identified a slaty-backed gull, a mockingbird, a sage thrasher, a purple finch, and a rock wren. So pretty cool. And that was just today. So there is that. And let me turn the camera around and show you this bird feeder up close. So here's the bird feeder a little close. I would actually like to probably hook it up on like something that makes it a little bit more flat, like so. But I just have it on a hook right now. So if you've got like trees or like a 4x4 that you can mount that to, that might be just a little bit better than just having it on this hook right here. But this is where the bird seed is, and this is where the birds perch, and then you could see the camera right there. So like I said, it is an AI. It detects the birds and identifies the birds, and then when you click on it, it will even tell you what type of bird it is, and it tells you all kinds of information about the bird. So this is the bird seed that I put in there, and it holds a good amount of bird seed. And then this is the solar panel for it right up here. So it's probably taking a picture of me right now. It's probably saying, I identify a human. I wonder if AI knows that it's me. Just really curious. So, like I said, it's a little different. If I was going to keep it in the garden, I would probably want to paint this green, probably more of a copper color than this green right here. You can see this chickadee right there flying around me. He wants some food. And then actually up here in my crepe myrtle, you can see the mockingbird right there. This mockingbird's a little bit of a bully. He likes to scare the other birds away from my feeders for whatever reason. So I don't know about you, but I absolutely love birds in my garden. I can watch them all day long. So I enjoy feeding my birds, especially in the wintertime. It's really, really important because they don't have a lot of food in the wintertime. And honestly, like I feed my birds all year round because I have different birds in the summertime than I do here in the wintertime. And this feeder comes with a couple of different little options too. It's got like a little fork or pick that you could put some type of fruit on there, and then it's got like a little thing that you could do for hummingbirds as well. And while we're out here in the garden, I'm going to get a few things done today. So like I said, it's the first part of February, and I am Charlotte, North Carolina, Zone 8. And of course, you can tell that I do not have snow behind me, but this morning we had a really hard frost and it was quite cold. But right now it is in the mid-50s, and as long as the sun's out, I am feeling awesome. So when it's like this, I just really, really need to get out into my garden because I need to see the sun, and it just refreshes my soul and it just does good for me. Like I am not the type of person that can stay inside. I just cannot do it. I cannot sit on the couch and watch TV for long periods of time. Like, this is my peace. I like to get out here and watch my birds and play around into my garden. So today, I already pruned 2 quadrants of my roses, my David Austin roses, and I'm going to get 2 more quadrants of those roses pruned back today. So you can prune roses anywhere you can prune roses anytime, January, February, or March. You just want to make sure you prune them before you see new growth. And all of my instructions for my David Austin roses are on another video, and I have 5 easy steps. So I'm going to share that video with you, but I'm going to also share some information with you today on what I'm going to do. But like, that other video was so awesome that it doesn't really do me any good to sit there and repeat that video, because that other one was really, really well. So get some instruction from me today, but make sure you watch that other video that I did last year on trimming these roses. And like I said, I got all my information off the David Austin rose, and these are shrub roses. So you prune shrub roses just a little bit different than you do like a climbing rose or even a rambling rose. Most of these in my rose garden here, they're all shrub roses, so they're easy to prune back. And then I have one or two climbing roses, and then I have a rambling rose that I need to really get a hold of, but that's going to be a different day. So let me turn the camera around and show you what I've already pruned and what I have to prune. And then I have still a few more perennials that I need to get moved because they are not happy in their place. So I've got a penstemon, you guys. It has not bloomed hardly at all in the last 4 years. So it desperately needs to be moved. I think it doesn't get enough sun, and maybe it's competes too much with my little lime hydrangea. So I'm going to turn the camera on, like I said, and show you what I got done and what I still need to do in this garden. So this is my formal rose garden, and like I said, I have 4 different types of David Austin roses in here. These are my boscabelles, and in each side of the quadrant I have either 5 or 4 roses. So you can see I already pruned these back, and I gave them a really hard prune. And I had to use my loppers because my stems are starting to get pretty thick enough that it's really hard for me to use my Dokoo 2 pruners. So I hope this gives you kind of an idea of how I prune things back. And like I said, I try to thin out the middle part as well, and any crossing branches, so they'll have movement and air in the middle. This next quadrant right here is my Gabrielle oak, and I have 5 as well in this little area right here. And these stems are a little bit more purple to red. And I got them all pruned back. And while I have them all pruned back, I'm going to come back with some organic land and sea, which is a really good compost, and I'm going to put a little bit of the compost around that as well. And I have the land and sea to share with you today. And look, you guys, look at these little beauties popping up right here. Those are my alliums, and I planted 50 of them this year. So I'm so excited about these alliums that are going to come up. To me, they look magical and whimsical. And then this is the other quadrant. This is the Stegia Ave, and we are going to prune these back together. So these are the tools that I'm going to use. I have my pop-up bag to put all my clippings in. You do not want to leave your rose clippings anywhere near your rose because that can create some disease. And then I have my gloves that I'm going to work with right here. These were my Digs gloves. I believe that's what they were. And then these are the loppers that I'm going to use. Like I said, for me, whenever the bases get a little bit stronger, these loppers work better. And then for the real smaller limbs, I like to use my Dokoo 2s. Love these Dokoo 2 pruners. If you don't have any, make sure you get some. I have a small hand, and these are just like perfect for me as well. So they just fit in my hand really good. I have all these links on Amazon if you're interested. And then this is the land and sea that I like to use. Now, I know this organic land and sea is a little bit more pricey, but for me, I love it. I like to amend my clay soil with it, and then I like to top dress it. So today I'm going to top dress these roses with this land and sea and just give them a little bit of some natural components and compost to make them like do really good in the springtime. And then since I battled black spot so much this past year, I got some Comper fungicide that I'm going to spray on the roses after I prune them. And in this bottle I have Shield Rose. It's not the mite. I have Shield Rose. So they used to have Rose RX, but they've kind of done away with the Rose RX, and it's called Rose Shield now. Can you believe I still have some blooms, like they're old blooms on there, but I thought they would bloom out, but they never did. Now these roses have been pruned back a little bit. Like this one with all the greenery has not been pruned back as much. But like these right here were pruned back, I'm gonna say maybe November, December. So I waited till now to give them a hard prune, but we're gonna probably cut these back even harder. Probably, I usually do right below my knee, but maybe 12 to 18 inches off the ground, I'm gonna say. And then the main thing is to, of course, we're gonna cut any of the old foliage off. So that foliage right there is gonna come off. Any crossing branches, any dead branches, and then any of the real tiny branches, we're gonna get rid of those as well. So you can see that this is brown and this is dead. So this is gonna come off. And then do you see this smaller branch right here, which I don't think is doing great either? That smaller branch is gonna come off. And do you see how it like crosses over into this way? We're gonna cut any of those branches that cross over that way. We want everything to come out towards this way. And like I said, all this foliage is gonna come off as well. And then anything dead. And then like this branch right here, I'm gonna cut it all the way back to down here and take all of this top part off. And I need to make sure I don't step on any of these gorgeous beauties that are popping up. Another thing to think about each time you go from rose to rose is to make sure you get something and give this a good wipe so you're not spreading any kind of disease. So this is just a wipe that has like some kind of antibacterial, 99% will kill anything. You can use alcohol as well. All right, so you can see that this is my knee. And this is quite bigger than my knee, so I'm gonna go right down below to my knee level. And that's kind of my guide. You don't have to really cut above or below like a node. You don't need to, for roses, you don't have to be careful to do that. And you just do wanna make sure you wanna make like a good, strong cut. So actually this one's dead right here, so it needs to come all the way off. This one had a little bit of an ulcer there, so I just went ahead and cut that one off too. So I cut below it so it's still not on the stem. And then make sure you remove all these. And then this one right here is dead, so I'm gonna get it out. Could probably go all the way down. Another tip that you know that it's dead, of course it's brown. Do you see how brown it is? And there's no green in the middle. Do you see that? Absolutely no green. So let me clip off another one to show you what the green would look like. Do you see how that's green in the middle? That is a good healthy rose where it's green. Sometimes down here they'll just kind of break off too. See, I just broke this one off. See how that's brown? Of course, that just broke off. And some mushrooms growing around here too. You see the mushroom? They say mushroom compost is pretty good. Now, of course, earlier in the season, I had dead leaves that had dropped all over. And of course, before I already got all the dead leaves off. Now, this branch right here is crossing inwards. Do you see this branch right here? How it's going this way and not coming out towards this way? So I'm going to remove this branch right here. The rose behind me is attacking my ass. So we're going to a new rose, so I'm just going to give it a wipe so we don't spread any disease. Where I'm taking all the foliage off. All right, so this one right here, is completely dead. And usually if I kind of bring it back, it'll like break off, but it's not going to. So I'm gonna cut this one all the way back, and I'm pretty happy with all these right here. They're all gonna stay. See where this has green? So that's alive. This one down here was dead, so I cut that all the way back as far as I could. And then these branches right here aren't touching each other, and they're fine. This one's pretty much debatable. Like, I could probably cut this one off, but since I don't have any growth over here, I'm gonna leave it. Now look at this one. This one's got all kind of leaves around it. So we wanna make sure we remove all of this. We're gonna get all this away from the plant and dispose of it. Like I said, I really had a lot of black spot this past year, and I want to prevent that. And I'm going to try to preventively, you can see this is black spot on this leaf right here. So I'm going to try to go ahead and try to prevent some of that for next year. And I'm going to spray now while this plant is dormant. And then again, when it starts to sprout some leaves, and then probably maybe even every month. All right, so see, this one was a big cane and it had no brown. So I just went ahead and removed every bit of that right there. So actually right here, I don't have much in here. I'm gonna have to go and get some more. So I'm just gonna put this around the base of it here. Let it soak in. And then I need to get me some more. This is the copper fungicide. This battles the black spot, blight, powdery mildew, but I mainly battle with the black spot. This is my land and sea. That's what this looks like. Really nice compost. You can use any compost. The roses will be happy. And this is just going to give a little bit of extra nutrients that are going to soak down and kind of help the soil. It's not going to make the rose grow right here either in early February either. My allium some too. And it's easier to go ahead and do this now than when these roses flush out. All right, so let me know your tips and tricks about this because we can all learn from each other. Just comment below and let me know, like, what do you do in the wintertime to prevent black spot? Do you do anything? Like, this is the first time that I'm trying the Rose Shield and the copper fungicide to prevent black spot. I feel like if I can get ahead of it and let this rose absorb a little bit of it, then it might be benefit and it might not do anything. So let me know what you guys do, or if you do anything, or if you just let it be, because like I said, it's really humid here in my zone in Charlotte, North Carolina. And last spring we got a ton of rain, and this winter right now we're getting lots of rain. So there's a lot of moisture in this ground right here. So, you know, and I was totally surprised how much dead I had in these roses. So that is why you prune your roses really well. For one, you'll have more blooms and it'll flush out really nicely. And you will get a lot of nice air control in the middle of it, so they'll bloom better and have less disease. And then any crossing branches, if they rub across each other, that will cause some sort of disease as well, and get all your prior leaves off them as well. That's a lot of as wells. Do you notice that I say that a lot? I'll try not to say that as much, but it's better than anyways. Give me your comments. Like I said, we can all learn from each other. I am not a pro at this. I try to teach you exactly what I have learned and what I do, but we may do things differently, and all of us may do things right as long as we have the right outcome and we have gorgeous, beautiful blooms. Here come in May for me. So just give you a little bit closer look. This is where I pruned a dead one back. I'm still not really happy with these two branches being that close together, but I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 branches off this one row, so I'm gonna keep it. And then you can see where I put my compost down. Like I said, you can use any compost. Anything is gonna be wonderful and they're gonna love it for you. And then you can see my alliums coming up. I'm so excited about that. And then I only have 4 roses in this one, in this area. And this one is Eustacia Ave. And then the boxwoods surrounding it. This copper on the boxwoods is normal. As soon as it warms up, this copperness will go away. But aren't they pretty? I actually had a hedge in 3 years, you guys. Just to give you an idea. You can have a nice hedge like this in 3 years. And this is the Oakland holly up close. Let me pan up here to my Galloway urn. It needs some attention. This is my raised garden bed that my husband made me out of wood, and look at all those tulips. This one was my experiment. These were my tulips that I had last year in the front. They're the Giants from Color Blends. They were like peach and pink, like 3 different colors, and they were called Giant something. I'll throw the name up for you. But we're gonna see if these things bloom, and I have a feeling they will. This is my Savannah bed. If you're looking for a good quality bed that you just put together yourself and not make. This Savannah bed's very nice. I'll have that link in the description. And look at my ranunculus in here. Now when it was cold and got down to like 17, I had a cover that I can throw over it that kind of made like a greenhouse, and it protected these little babies. This is the other quadrant that I still need to prune. This is Alexandra of Kent. So we're going to do the same process with that one. And like I said, I already showed you those other quadrants. And these are the other roses that I pruned up too. These are Olivia, Celebration, and Olivia. And this one is my climbing rose. This one's called Shropshire Lad. And this is one of my climbing roses that I have. So these are done differently. So you want to keep the long canes as such, but you want to cut the very tops of them off. Make sure you get all the foliage as so. And then if you have a side branching, you want to keep a little bit of the side branching. Let me show you a better example. So you see where you come up, and then I have a side branch here. So I just cut that off and left about an inch, inch and a half to 2. See how I left that one? And see how I left all these? Supposedly this is where you're going to get all your buds for the upcoming year. And then of course there'll be some on the top too. The first year I didn't know this, and I cut all these off. So that was a learning curve for me, how to prune these. This trellis I got from Gardener Supply. It's a 3-way trellis, and I do have a clematis that's called Happy Jack that grows up with this. And oh my gosh, you guys, it's beautiful. I'll throw a picture up. Like, I just so in love with this area when it blooms, especially for the first time. It's beautiful. And look, can you believe that my daffodils for the south are starting to bloom? I have beautiful babies coming up. I have to share with you the Lenten roses too. Look how pretty. Keep waiting for them to land on that. They're not wanting to because I'm watching. If you have not pruned back your hydrangeas, you can do that now as well. I did mine in the fall. I wanted to do it in the fall because I wanted to put lights on these emerald green arborvitaes for Christmas time. And then I just wanted to let these emerald green arborvitaes have their time in the garden like they do right now. So this is how I pruned my limelight hydrangeas back. And I did the exact same thing. I tried to get off all the dead. I got off any crossing branches. And with the limelight hydrangeas or any kind of panicle hydrangeas, you want to cut them back by 1/3 because you still want them to have strong stems to be able to hold up those big, nice, gorgeous blooms that you're going to have. For me, it's probably June. So this is my very last limelight hydrangea that's in the hedge. And then you can see that I have another standard form hydrangea tree right there. I do love the tree forms as well. They're so pretty. And then I have a daisy here that I really do enjoy, and it only does give blooms for me one time though. That's the only thing. I wished it was reblooming. And this is the penstemon that I've never seen bloom. So it's not happy, and you know, we pay a lot for these perennials. So I'm going to try to find a new location for this one. And then I have some sedum that's not really happy in my skinny side garden that's on the side of the house. And these are really happy here. So I've got 2 that I'm going to dig up on the side garden, and I'm going to try to find a space maybe right in here to see if they'll be happy there. And it's never too late to go ahead and dig this up. This is actually poa grass, and we we sprayed for it, but you know, you still have some that comes up. So it does pull up really, really easy. So go ahead and pull this up before it goes to seed, because if it goes to seed, you're gonna be so unhappy because this stuff spreads like wildfire. And like I said, we just got some nice rain, so it pulls up really easy too. This is poa grass. Sasha's trying to get ahead of me. Where are you going? Where are you going? All right, so this is the skinny side garden, and I'm going to show you. Sasha, let me walk around her. The sedum that I'm going to relocate. So this looks gorgeous right now. It's so pretty right now. But in the summertime, it gets really leggy and it gets mildew on it, and it's just not happy. So I did have 3. There's the other one. And this one is, got a tag, autumn. Let me see. I love my tags in the garden too, you guys, because I forget names. Autumn charm. So we'll put this tag back right there. Like I said, I need to get those moved. My tulips are coming up really, really nicely in this area. So where my yellow pansies are looking so pretty. And look at this camellia. This white by the gate camellia. It's doing really good. What I'm going to do is get my power planter auger out, and then I'm going to get my biotone, and then I'm going to use that same land and sea. And what I do with my power planter is get my whole all mixed up, throw a couple of hands of biotone in there, a couple of handfuls of my land and sea, and then I'll plant it. But I'll always, in my hard clay, I'll plant it about maybe an inch above the ground, and then I'll mound it up. That way in the clay soil, it will drain really well, because hard clay will hold on to a lot of moisture. So that's the reason why we do that. So if you have a problem with hard clay, remember that. So you want to amend your soil. And then after I do that process, then I will throw some land and sea on top of that just to top dress it. That way it will leak down into the soil and help the soil as well. So as soon as I do that, I'm going to show you where I'm going to find these 2 new places for these penstemon and those 2 sedums. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this gave you some inspiration. And yes, if you are especially in my zone, zone 8 or zone 9 or 10, get out into your garden even in February. There's lots of things that you can do. And like I said, I started early in the fall, and I am still got a ton of things that I can do in the garden. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. By the way, 74% of the people that watch my videos have not subscribed. And my goal last year was 22,000 for the end of the year, and I'm not even at 5,000. So help me get to my goal. And it lets YouTube know that I'm doing a good job as well, and me. It lets me know that I'm doing a good job for you, so it'll keep me inspired to keep making videos for you. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.